Alright, what's going on, guys? This is Bossrosslp. Doing something a little bit different than what I usually do when I record something like this. For one thing, there's no video right now. I mean, sort of, there is a video, but there isn't a video. You guys are just hearing me talk. I've sort of run out of interesting ways to record update videos, and it's been a while since I've done one. So I decided that it might be fun to try recording one on my way home from college. It is currently 9 o'clock at night on a Thursday. I believe it is April the 13th. Still do not have my package for my pen clips, or whatever the fuck they are. They're like little circle discs, so I can use a pen to draw on my iPad or whatever. I've been meaning to get that. Speaking of which, I got an iPad. Yeah, there's a lot to update on. When I'm driving, I cannot technically look at a list of all the things I need to talk about. So this is going to be very rambly. But it might be pretty interesting to just sort of drive around and talk while I'm driving around. Hopefully this functions. I've tested it and it seems like the sound quality is not terrible, although I could be completely wrong. It could also be the fact that my iPad's over there and I'm just like poking it and my voice is over here. But there's good acoustics in the car, not the guitar. Oh dear. A little tired, but not super tired. I think I was going to say something else about that fact. Something about the fact that in the car, yeah, fuck it, forget it. So basically, what has been going on in the channel of Bossrosslp? Well, as you guys have probably been seeing recently, there have been 4 types of uploads. Yeah, I would say about 4. One would be any type of stream or recording I do with Zuper, which has generally been a lot of Windcraft lately. Winecraft, it's Windcraft. That has been a series that goes up. I've also been uploading other stuff. I have DB on there, which is basically Dueling Book, otherwise known as the Dueling Network 2, Dueling Network Harder. That is on there, and I've been uploading that. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. I haven't been uploading Dueling Book. I have it all ready to be rendered, but I have not actually rendered and uploaded it yet, because I had to record that with Camtasia, so I need to render it. I can't just directly upload it, which I think I would want to render it anyway, because there are some weird pictures posted by the users of the site, and I definitely want to filter those out. That's a thing. The other the other 3 types of things I've been uploading lately has been Fallout New Vegas. That's one of them. Fallout New Vegas is going just fine. It's just a pain in the ass. It's not going fine at all. I have no idea what's wrong with the fucking project. It's cursed. Let's see. The first session went beautifully because I thought there were audio problems, and there were, just not with the recording. It's like the VATS Pit Boy, and I want to say it was the like the switching guns sound effect. It didn't function, and that's what I was hearing. Now on the actual recording itself through XSplit, they were both operating just fine. So I didn't know this, and I decided to implement a fix in order to prevent that from being a problem. Now my fix was to basically take the headphone speakers and make them play from the front and back headset panels, because apparently a lot of headsets have a front and back speaker as well as a left and right. And what that does is, games that have surround sound of a specific type, like Obsidian Software's Fallout New Vegas, basically it makes some of the sounds play in the front speaker and some play in the back speaker. The ultimate joke is, by fixing it like that, through XSplit, I basically killed the sound, like entirely. So I recorded a whole hour or so where I thought I heard perfect audio, where it was wrong. I spent like the first 30 minutes of the game complaining about it when it was fine, and then I say I fixed it and I fucked everything up. So that was very humorous. Also, I think I'm actually going to get some gas before I continue. I'm probably not even going to bother to stop the recording. you get to awkwardly hear me order some gas, and I'm not going to talk like a madman while I'm getting gas. You can just sort of hear me getting some gas, and that'll be a thing. I think I have money for gas. I do have money for gas. All right, let's go get some gas, guys. I think I'd be able to make it home either way, but it'd just be good to get some gas. So I'll continue that in a second. Hold my thought there, Ross. You were talking about New Vegas, and you talked about the first problem with it. Now, we'll have to talk about the other problems after we get some gas. Oh, fuck, they took my spot I always take here. Well, I can take that one. All right. Silence time. I have a 20. I have two 20s. Solid. $25. Get me a full tank. Get me a mil tank. What? Oh, wait a minute. Gotta turn off the engine. Hi there. $25 regular? Pull up?
Yeah, Bob.
Sure. I can do that.
$25.
25 regular, yep. You know, I don't actually know if my car needs $25 of gas. Apparently it does. There you are. Have a good night.
Beautiful.
We in there. And now I can be crazy again. Except I have to make sure I don't hit anybody. Cool. Alright. We got gas. Now we get to go drive on the highway. Fun times. Oh yeah, we're good. Alright. So as I was saying, Fallout New Vegas. First session went absolutely terribly. Yeah, I'm probably going to cut out the whole buying of gas. But yeah, first session went terribly. Wish I could cut out the first session of Fallout New Vegas, except then you guys would lose stuff. Now you had to wait until session 3 before stuff got cut out. So, our problems consisted, after we got our good buddy Camtasia in on the mix, to fix the problems that XSplit was having. Now, what Camtasia brought to the table was the fact that I could control the audio at will, generally, and it was a lot easier for me to prevent issues such as the one that sort of happened there with XSplit. The problem is, Camtasia and XSplit have two varying quality differences when it comes to recording sound and when it comes to recording in general. So what XSplit will do is it will, while you're recording, sort of render the video into an MP4 format. And it's going to just be the standard video, and it's going to have the sound, and you're basically golden. What Camtasia does is entirely different, okay? Camtasia takes, essentially, the sound. I'm just going to move the iPad on my lap, so maybe it'll be easier for you guys to hear me. What Camtasia does, it takes the sound and the system audio, your voice, and it sort of splits them. Now, in the process of splitting the sound, the video and your voice and whatever other algorithmic shit it does, it makes the file size fucking enormous. And I'm not just saying that because it's really huge. The first time I noticed this problem was way back in the day with Quest 64. Pre-Quest 64 days, I used Camtasia version 6, I want to say, and that was on the main computer. And Camtasia 6 had its own way of rendering things, where once you finished up the project, when you finished recording something, it would take forever for it to process the video to the point where you could save it. And then once you did save it, that also took forever, and then you could just edit from there. Camtasia 7, on the other hand, fixed that issue by sort of bypassing how it handled the recording. And in the process of doing that, the file sizes are enormous. And Quest 64, you could record an hour and it'd be about 20 gigabytes large. And that was huge for the time. Right now, on the main computer, where I have less space than I did on the hard drive for the silver laptop, which was the third recording software. I've actually used 5 different ones, because I had the mini laptop, I had the main computer from my house, I had the blue laptop, and I had the HP Envy, and now finally I have the Bossrosslp computer, which is what I call it. It's the main, it's a supercomputer for recording right now. That's what I use most of the recording stuff for. But yeah, that's beside the point. On the HP Envy, I had about 1,000 gigs on the hard drive. Yeah, this thing has about 750 on the D drive, and I'm taking it up pretty fast. Between projects that haven't been uploaded yet, stuff I've recorded with Zuper, the anime folder I actually have, which is pretty huge, and other miscellaneous shit, such as my fucking god, I have Final Fantasy 13, and it's glorious 300 gigabytes. Now, I don't know how large it actually is, but it's like a solid 20 gigabytes worth of cutscenes. That's what it is. But point is, the ultimate joke here is the file size for Fallout New Vegas is upwards of 50 to 70 gigabytes per hour. 50 to 70 gigabytes per hour. That's fucking disgusting. It's disgusting. For reference, Chugga Conroy recorded 2 hours of the dog racing in Majora's Mask. And he's a pretty high quality recorder and streamer guy. 60 gigabytes in 2 hours of the dog park on Majora's Mask, compared to 60 gigabytes in an hour in New Vegas, or so. The latest thing I recorded in Fallout New Vegas did not save at all. It was an hour long. It went a little over an hour. And I thought, I could have sworn, I believe I checked, and it said I had 100 gigs left over. Now that means one of two things. That means, Jesus Christ, it's possible to get the software to go up to 100 gigs in an hour. And if that's the case, I have no idea what the fuck I'm going to do for Fallout New Vegas. Or, number 2, which is an even bigger problem, Camtasia thinks it doesn't have enough space, and it kills the file. You see, it's perfectly fine, honestly, if Camtasia runs out of space. Sort of. That's how it's supposed to be. But the problem is, when Camtasia records the files, recently, what it's been doing is it'll say, oh, we're going to save the file for you because you ran out of disk space. And it doesn't do it. It doesn't save the file. You don't take a hit off your space, but that doesn't fucking matter, because the second you run out of disk space, as Camtasia says, it kills your recording. And if it kills your recording, for me at least, I'm fucked. Because if that happens, I lose the file. I lose hours or however long of recording. Now, It's very lucky that Fallout New Vegas sort of put you into a system of constant saving your game, as I have. Like stuff like Skyrim, where you just constantly have saves upon saves, it's great. But for a game like, say, I don't know, Path of Radiance, I think I had a problem where I almost missed a chapter in Path of Radiance. And I was using Camtasia for that. If you miss a chapter in Path of Radiance, and you don't have separate saves, good luck. You have to either hope you catch it early and are able to restart the whole chapter, if you even feel like doing that, which I don't, or you have to replay the entire game up to the part where you're at, and there is a 100% guarantee that your characters are not going to have the same stats, the same items, like, it's going to be different. You can't replicate the same situation you had in Path of Radiance. Like, it's fine to redo the chapter and have different strategies and different stuff happen in that respect. Yeah, it's fine. And since I was doing an all gals run, I couldn't really have the luxury of killing anybody, so I had to reset when I died. It wasn't an Iron Man run. That's no problem. But you still can't get the genuine experience of doing the chapter the first time and all the situations that would have happened. Like, God tier missed is something that's never going to happen again if I play Path of Radiance on my own time or in a Let's Replay 20 years down the line, or however fucking long it'll be in the future, which I probably won't by that point. It'll be a dead channel. Who knows? But yeah, I'm never going to have God tier Mist again. For those of you that don't know, Mist had 14 strength. Ike had 14 strength at level 20. That is nonsense. Her strength growth is not enough where that should ever be a thing. It's pretty high for a cleric. And that's because when she evolves, she becomes a Valkyrie. And for some stupid reason, they felt that Valkyrie should use swords and staves. It works, though, because she can get the Sonic Sword, and she has a tolerable strength growth. Ike does not have a tolerable strength growth. He has a fantastic strength growth. So for that to be the case, either my Ike got very strength screwed, or Mischief's got strength blessed. And I'm sort of leaning towards the latter. Because 14 strength Ike was not a problem. At level 20, he capped strength. Even though his strength cap is kind of shitty at like 26 or whatever it is. But that's beside the point. I went on a whole tangent there. Ultimate point that I was making was that Camtasia, if you fuck up a recording, you're fucked, because it's just such a terrible situation for that to happen, for you to lose an hour or however long you're recording of footage. It's not fun. You were basically sitting there talking to yourself for however long you were doing it. On the trip to the town with the giant green dinosaur, Novak, in New Vegas, I had a session where I had that happen, and there was some stuff that was kind of funny that happened on the way to Novak, and I was a little saddened that I missed that. Though I was able to sort of work around that. Now, the trip throughout the New Vegas Strip, before you actually get into New Vegas, called Freeside, that was the most recent thing I recorded that fucked up. That had some very good commentary to it. That had some funny moments. I had this whole moment where I was going around like the King's Lodge, and I was just looking for a fucking radio to turn it off, because they have a radio in the tower or the place or whatever where it does not turn off, and there's no way to turn it off because you can't find it. And I had like this running joke going on in New Vegas where, because of the copyright crap I've had in both Fallout 3 as well as Skyrim, I'm just trying to avoid any lengths of copyright by just becoming the ultimate cancer to copyright, just turning off the radio whenever I see it, going to all lengths. There was actually a funny part. This was on recording, though. You can go see this. I think it'll be uploaded today, because it'll be like episode 14, where I got Veronica. And before I got her, I turned off the radio that was sitting on this counter in the middle of the wasteland. And in doing so, I accidentally stole a shot glass from the ground. I accidentally clicked on a shot glass and pocketed it.
the person came over and he took the shot glass from me, or at least he tried to. And before that happened, I had actually talked to a new follower named Veronica. And she got annoyed, or like her AI got really pissed off that this guy was taking the shot glass from me. Or the guy taking the shot glass got upset at me and he maybe started to try to attack me. Veronica just goes up and decks him in the face and he goes flying. He's dead. She just up and kills him over a shot glass. That was funny. And there were funny moments like that in the actual recording that did not get to see the light of day. And that's just the problem with Fallout New Vegas, is that if I'm recording with Camtasia and the parts are that huge, I have to make sure I have enough space. But in order to make sure I have enough space, I need to start rendering out all the other shit I have in backlogged. And that sort of ties into the stuff I have backlogged with Zuper. And if I don't have enough time, because of school and all that other stuff, to set up a bunch of stuff to be uploaded and backlogged and edited, because there's some stuff that's backlogged that I want to edit. For example, Winecraft is, of course, an example. I have some stuff backlogged there, but that I'm actually being a little bit proactive with my editing. Something like U-Realms, the disgusting thing that U-Realms has become, the beast of a project that has been between me, Jaden, and Zuper, and the glorious multi-chapter sessions we've had recording that, over 5 hours long in some parts, and I have not really bothered to edit them down. That is a solid at least 100 gigabytes on my hard drive. That is going to take a shitload of time to edit that I have just not edited yet. And it's just like, good lord, if I don't have enough time because of school, work, and other obligations, then I'm sort of stuck not able to record New Vegas for fear of the problem having where it just kills the recording. Now what I could do is I could constantly record like 40-minute parts and stuff like that, and then just quickly cut them out and upload them. But I like having recording sessions, and not just like recording 2 episodes and like, there you go, now quickly go edit those, because there are some nights where I just have the time to do sessions, and those are good to flag behind. Like, I can't just record every single day for 20 minutes at a time like I used to be able to when I was in high school. That's not possible anymore. I find recording sessions, like me and Zuper record on Fridays and Saturdays because it works best with our schedule. And I can usually find time to record on Mondays, and if I have to, I take that time to record Phoenix Wright, which is the next thing we're going to talk about, which doesn't take a shitload of gigabytes, or something completely different that doesn't take a shitload of gigabytes. And that's the problem. If it's New Vegas, then it's already something that doesn't get a ton of views, and I can only get about an hour out of it before I'm out of space, and I have to start editing. So it creates the stigma where I don't want to record it as much, because I know that I'm just going to get fucked with space issues. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do for New Vegas. I just have to set myself up with more space before that's a problem. I have episodes to upload. That's not the issue. Right now, where I'm at, I believe I have at least 4-ish episodes backlogged and able to be uploaded before I'm going to run out. And I upload slowly anyway, so that's okay. Now, Phoenix Wright, I just mentioned that. I can talk about that as well as I take my nice turn off the highway. We are done with our highway travel. We ranted through it. Phoenix Wright. I suck at the game, but no, beside the point, it takes less space to record. It records with XSplit, so the file sizes are easier to manage. Of course, I still have to render it. I've been having sound problems lately with the recordings that you guys have been seeing. That gets fixed. Don't worry about that. Phoenix Wright is okay. Right now, I've uploaded through Trial 2's first, well, not Trial 2, Case 2's Trial Part 1 was done. The investigations Part 2 is almost done, and we're about to start Case 2, Trial 2. And that's pretty much going to be that. And once we get to 3, that's where I really hit my stride. Like I did in Justice for All, as it stands. I hit my stride where I had not only better commentary, but better competency for where things were. There was an investigation phase that was particularly not very bueno, but it wasn't that bad, and I felt like it's something that was easily cut outable, and it's not that big of a deal. There's a guy with his high beams on in the middle of a ton of cars, and it is glorious. Guys, if you have your high beams on, please turn them off. Like, seriously. If you're fucking driving and you have your high beams on, just turn them off unless you're on a desolate road. Not here. Never turn your high beams on unless you're down, like, a fucking street avenue, like, going towards your house or to wherever destination you need to go and it's rural. Then you can have your high beams on. That's fine. I don't care. Turn them off for other drivers, of course, but you're fine. If you're on the highway, you're going to forget. You're going to forget to turn off your high beams. So don't. Just don't have them on. Here's a little soapbox for you. Phoenix Wright. So I hit my stride with Trial 3 and Case 3 and all that stuff, which is good. And then I did Case 4. Had quite a bit of difficulty there with Case 4. It was a hard case. There was no investigation phase for Case 4. If you haven't seen it yet, not uploaded, but if you haven't on your own time seen what Trials and Tribulations has for its Case 4, I highly recommend you wait and see, or you go and figure it out, because it's actually pretty cool. It's very different than what the past 2 Phoenix Wright games have done. It's sort of a revamp of Trial, or Case 1, from Trials and Tribulations. They sort of do it again, which I suppose gives it away where it is, although maybe it won't. It's very neat, very neat. But more on that. Phoenix Wright is its own little thing. It's its own little beast. It's doing its own thing. I've started Case 5. I have not gotten really anywhere with Case 5. I got through the main dramatic situation that happened. There was a murder. I'm pretty sure that someone was murdered. And after that, there was a specific story circumstance that happens that sort of sets up the fact that there's going to be an investigation phase. I'm not certain exactly, but that happened. I'm very surprised that certain characters have not appeared yet. Spoilers, but not really. A Lot of Heart has not appeared yet. Old Bag has been mentioned in name, but that's about it. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Also, I think I might just drop by the Mickey Donald's for some food, because I actually don't have any food at the house. So not only do you guys get to hear me get gas, you get to hear me order some fast food as well. Oh boy. I could go through my own drive-thru at work. That would also be kind of funny. I have time. It doesn't close till 12. Fuck it. I'll just go to McDonald's. That's easier. It's right here. Plus their nuggets are better. What should I get to drink, guys? I mean, I could get the sweet tea that's like $1. I shouldn't do that. We have drinks at home. Non-alcoholic ones, of course, I'm talking about. But, you know, let's find out what I want to eat. Ooh, here. Oh, well, this is the one that has the multi-drive-thrus. It's very weird. Okay. I think I know what I want.
Hi, we now have breakfast all day long.
I may help you?
Hi there. Could I get a 20-piece nugget and a large fry?
Any sauce, any barbecue?
Could I get barbecue sauce?
Absolutely. Can I get you anything else today?
Could I get an Oreo McFlurry?
Oreo McFlurry, regular size?
Regular size.
Will that be all today?
That'll do it.
And I'm sorry, you said a large fry, correct?
Yes.
No problem. You said it'll be 1088 first window, please.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome. Have a good one.
I wonder if you guys are going to be able to hear her. That'd be interesting. Oh, here we go. Multi-layered drive-thrus.
Can I be 1088?
Sure.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
There you go.
All right, thank
Enjoy
you.
your night.
You too.
Come on.
She can't enjoy her night. She's working. Ooh, a little closer. A little closer.
How are you?
Hi there.
Good. You got to put your ice cream, right?
Sure.
You don't remember what you told me, sir. Oreo makes money. You're taking it down.
Feel fat. Oh, thank you. Have a good one. I wonder how long she was staring there, or standing there, not staring there. Maybe she was staring at me. It was kind of cute. All right, let's go and continue on our process of going mildly insane while we drive. So I ended up getting a McFlurry. I just took one look and I'm like, you know, fuck it. Let's just get a flurry. Ooh, we got a fun drive. Wait. Oh, right. This is the one. Oh, fuck. I forgot. Flurries are the spoon kind. Like, they're not something you just drink like the milkshakes are. Shite. Well, I guess that's fine. This is like one of the worst things to drive and eat, but I'll give it the ultimate try. Oh, God. It's good, though. Very good. How was I talking about? Something about Phoenix Wright, I believe. Yeah, I think I pretty much said all I needed to say on Phoenix Wright before I pulled into Mickey's. So, let's focus on something else. Number 4, the thing that you guys have not been seeing but may see in the future. That is the Pokemon trading card game numero 2. Team GR Rises, or here comes Team GR, Team Great Rocket. This is a game that was only released in Japan. We got that here. Lapras, there we go. This is a game that was only released in Japan, and has since gotten an English translation that I have played before. So, what a wonderful thing. I'm playing a game that's not blind. Thank freaking God. I've been playing too many of those lately. I mean, Fallout New Vegas certainly isn't blind, but it will become blind, actually, as a matter of fact, once I get far enough in the main storyline. I've played plenty of New Vegas, but there's a lot of stuff I haven't seen. I haven't seen all the DLC. I don't even know if I'm going to do all the DLC. I assume I should, because, I mean, I have it. I might as well do all the DLC. That's like quality content right there. Except not really. I don't actually know how well the DLC was received. I don't even think I've beaten a single one of the DLCs. I've seen parts and pieces of it, thanks to Seamus and his 2 playthroughs of New Vegas. Yum yum. But point is, this is a project where I have completed it before in the past. I've beaten the game, and I know exactly what I'm doing, because I'm rather competent at the Pokemon trading card game. This is the first time I've actually played the card game, Pokemon trading card game, since getting on the 3DS, and subsequently since Yu-Gi-Oh! Has become a part of my daily life with the Super. Or weekly life, I suppose. And I'm starting to realize that there are a lot of Pokemon cards that are just explicitly broken. Like, I have a better understanding of cards that are just broken, that I did not have as much of an understanding of when I first played the Pokemon trading card game back in 2012. And this actually comes at the almost 5-year anniversary. It's a little bit after. It's been 5 years since I've done the original Pokemon trading card game, so it sort of fits. Now, funny story, I was initially not actually going to play this game, and what arose from this was like this sort of lethargic night where I'm like, I don't really feel like recording New Vegas. and I don't really feel like recording Phoenix Wright. So I'm just going to look around for other stupid shit I can do. Now somehow, and I can't exactly remember how, but I stumbled across this nice, fun little thing called the Pokemon Trading Card Game Randomized. And I said, whoa, excuse me? This is a randomizer that randomizes damage, HP of Pokemon, what they evolve into and from, and other random assorted shit like that. And I took one look at that. I'm like, I need this. This is fucking hilarious. And I tried for an hour and a half to figure out how the fuck to get it to work. And I have concluded that my search is impossible. There's nothing. There's nothing I can do to get it to work. I found the files for the jar file. If you type in Pokemon Trading Card Game Randomized, you will probably find the same thing I found. There were like multiple sites that gave the exact same text, the exact same blurb, the exact same person uploading the exact same thing. And it always leads to this like net site where it tells you step-by-step what to do. And the problem is, either I can't find the appropriate ROM that it requires, because it doesn't just need the Pokemon Trading Card Game ROM. No. It needs a special kind of Pokemon Trading Card Game ROM cut in order for the program to tiddlewink with that. Now, most people back then used to upload the ROMs like flies. They're like, oh, hey, look at the ROMs, woohoo! Nowadays, that's not the thing. It's harder to find ROMs now. Well, it's not hard to find ROMs, but it's harder to find the ROM you're looking for. And I could have sworn I found the one I was looking for. Still didn't work. Then I looked into this other program that's often packaged with this program that somehow can take the file and transform it into the file that you need. And though I looked into that, it didn't work. I couldn't get it to work. So, I don't know what to say. It's not something I can realistically do. Thus, I was unable to do it. And at that point, I'd already wasted an hour and a half. It was already like 2:30 at night. I'm just like, fuck, I just want to record something, and I want it to be the Pokemon Trading Card Game, so let's just record the sequel. And so I did. And I've since done a couple different sessions on the Pokemon Trading Card Game. I've decided not to upload it until, I don't know, some point in which I've either run out of other shit to upload, or I actually finish the project and I'm able to just, like, create a really systematic, nice upload schedule for it. And so far, it's been good. I've been using Camtasia, and guess what? The file sizes for it are like a gigabyte or 2 for an hour. That's the difference when you record with Camtasia versus, like, with a regular computer-based ROM, as opposed to recording a capture-based game like fucking New Vegas. It's a sizable difference. A very, very sizable difference. But, that being said, those are the main things that are being uploaded. And it took me a long time to get through that nice rant. So let's talk about something else, shall we? How about the anime talk show? Just take a bite of my ice cream, which is basically serving as my drink. Unbelievable. So, the anime talk show, what is the deal with that? Well, right now, that was the main reason I sort of got this iPad. Well, maybe not the main reason, but one of the biggest reasons that I got the iPad was that I need a script writing machine. And that is what this iPad is going to serve us as. I have in my possession a Blu-ray DVD player that can essentially, through the plug-in of a USB or through discs, either or, it can play essentially DVDs and Blu-rays. Duh. And what it's going to do for me is it's going to play our next anime that I'm going to be doing a anime talk show on, or Animax I should call it, and that's going to be Usagi Drop, otherwise known as Bunny Drop in the Americas, or wherever the fuck it is, but Usagi Dropu. It is episodic, sort of. It has a flowing narrative, but it's episodic. It is 13 episodes long, and it follows the tale of a little girl, 6 years old, who has recently been adopted by an older man, 30, who is single, a single father situation, because his grandfather has apparently recently passed away and had an illegitimate daughter with someone else. And this is just like, whoa. It's heavy stuff, but it's also a very interesting story. It's a little simple, but it's a good anime. So I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to be playing that on my Blu-ray player while simultaneously taking notes like I did for Bossrosslp on this. Now, the thing about Bossrosslp was, when I took notes for it, I did it on a physical notepad, and I had to constantly keep, like, looking down to check on it and, like, keep doing the stuff. I was like, no. I'm a typer. I can write okay, like, my handwriting's legible. That's no problem. The problem is I'm sort of a slow writer as compared to my typing. Not super slow, but compared to typing, I'm faster with typing. So here's the deal. I'm going to be able to type thanks to this nice little keyboard that came with this iPad. Well, that I purchased for the iPad. And that's going to be my script writing machine. I even have a pen, as I mentioned at the very beginning of this update, that I can use to draw and write notes as well. And that's all going to flow and help me with writing notes as well as script writing in general. And it's portable, it has a nice battery life, it's better. It's better than the HP Envy's battery life 400 folds. Like, I could probably use this thing 4 times longer than I could the HP Envy, maybe. Like, I'm not even doing anything strenuous on the HP Envy, and the thing will die in, like, an hour and a half. It's ridiculous. But it makes sense. It has 16 gigs of RAM. So I suppose it should have some pretty low battery life, considering it's only supposed to have 8. I put a lot of power into the thing. Ironically, it wasn't very necessary, because most of the stuff that requires that much power and RAM usually has a little bit more than 2.5 gigahertz processing. That's the nice processing power the HP Envy has. Hey, you should have thought about that, Ross. Oh, dear. But that's a story for a different day. Point is, I'll be able to do some work on the anime talk show. Animax, I should say. And on the note of that, fillatorials will also be able to continue. I have this whole list of fillatorials ideas, which I've mentioned in the past. But yeah, I have a whole list of stuff I want to do on that. If you guys have any suggestions, I'll take them. But fillatorials is like a nice avenue that I also want to make sure I keep up to date with. I'm going to have like 2 or 3 go up in between every single anime talk show episode. Over the summer, I get the feeling I'll be able to do more with that. Sort of. From the dates between the 22nd of May and June 22nd, somewhere between those days, I actually do have some summer classes, 2 of them to be exact, which will take my time on Mondays through Thursdays from like 10 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. And that works with work, and it's not overly long. It's just going to kill my ass, but it's only for a month, so that's fine. 5 weeks. In other words, 20 trips. That's essentially what I'm doing there. And it sucks, that's what I had to do, or risk taking some online courses, which I could do. Haven't had exactly the best relation with online courses, but whatever. Over the summer, I just get the feeling that there's going to be more time after that to handle more shit and do more stuff like the anime talk show. I have a feel for how I'm doing it. I have a feel for how I'm doing Animax, so I can just sort of pump them out. I can make them better and quicker than I took for Rurouni Kenshin. In theory. Theories are never practiced, though. Who knows? We'll see. I think that's most of what I wanted to cover channel-wise. But there is one last thing that I wanted to cover on my way home right now. It is 9:50. Yeah, I should be home in like 10 minutes. This should be enough time to get through this last little topic I wanted to do. So, for the past month or so, at least maybe even a little bit before that, I've actually been working on what I consider to be a dream of my life, a physical aspiration that I've had for quite a while, that I've had since freshman year of college, where I sort of attached myself to this idea that I've wanted to do, and that is writing a book. Now, until this past month or so, I have not actually written. I've storyboarded a lot. I've thought in my mind what I want to do for it. I've shaped, twisted ideas. I've thrown stuff around in my head, and now it's just like it's time to put practice into practice. Put thoughts into practice. And it's been going. It's a thing that's happening. Every like Monday and Wednesday or so, I have this nice period between one of my first classes and my second class where I take pretty much the entire battery life of my laptop to continue work. I currently have about 32 pages of the first chapter done in it, and every single day I'm either editing, like the past stuff I've done, and adding on to it or cutting away or doing whatever. And in that process, like every single day I add maybe 2 to 3 pages-ish. Maybe even a little less. And what that has ultimately done is shaped maybe 2/3 of the first chapter or so. Maybe a little bit less. Yeah, this is going to be a long book. I plan to have about 20 chapters, each of it an episodic story, revolving around 2 characters whose names are Aiden and Mia, otherwise known as Mia and I. That is the name of the book. It's in first person, and it has a hero switching system. If you've ever read Flipped by, I believe her name is Sharon Beecher? I think it's Sharon. I could be completely wrong. But if you've ever read Flipped, it has like this whole gimmick where you revolve between the 2 characters named Bryce and Jessica, I want to say her name is. It revolves between those 2. And I have a similar style, revolving between Mia and I. However, in that book, it's like you go through Bryce's story, then you go through what was happening at the time Bryce's story was happening, but with Jessica. So you have like retreaded ground. Here in this case, it's always flowing. Like time is always flowing. At least how I've done it so far, time is like constantly flowing. It's just it switches between the 2, like at random. Well, not really in random. Like there's reasons why it switches to them. Like for example, there's a part where Mia falls asleep. So of course it's going to switch to Aiden. It's not going to be like Mia's sleeping for 2 hours. Like no, fuck that. It's going to go to Aiden and what he's doing while she's sleeping. What he's doing with a character named Mr. Corsetti, etc., etc. I actually completed, sort of, I say completed, but really I didn't, a chapter of Me and I for a class. We had to write a fictional short story. It's called, the class is called Creative Writing. And we've had to do a bunch of stuff. We had to do script writing, we've had to do creative nonfiction, creative fiction, and one of the first things we did was creative fiction, and I actually wrote one of the chapter ideas I've had for Me and I out. Now, I rushed a bit for this, and I knew that, and I was actually able to get some feedback on it, and for the most part, it was a lot of what I could have expected were problems with it, because he was pretty brash with the things he was saying, which I'm very thankful for. I'm very thankful that he was very harshly honest about the things he was saying about the chapter, because I was not hyper attached to it. I'm attached to the story, but this was back when I had the ideas of making the story third person, and there were a lot of weird elements that I had to throw in the rush. And ultimately, the biggest problem with it is that I had no idea how many pages. I had no idea how fucking long I was going to have to make this book. I think before I came to the realization that this book was going to be long, I had the ideas of making this book like 500 to 600 words, maybe. About the length of like the first Harry Potter book. Like I used that as sort of like a mental base of how long it would take. Like each of those chapters, 20 to 30 pages. I've come to the realization that my chapters are going to be somewhere around the 40 to 50 range. Maybe. I don't know how it would look when the text shrinks to actual size. But if I'm having 20, we're looking at anywhere between, 800 to 1,200 pages. Once this is all said and done, maybe more. This is going to be a long book, is all I need to say about that. Maybe it'll come out shorter, because again, I don't know how exactly it'll look. I'm writing in 12-point Times New Roman font on OpenOffice, and that looks a little bit different from Word, and it certainly looks different than print. So I don't know exactly how many words are going to fit per page, how long it's going to turn out. I think most of the chapters are going to be about the same length as chapter 1 was. And yeah, that said, talking more on some of the notes he made, he mentioned that I did not go through enough character intrigue. Like, specifically, the characters themselves are not very interesting. They're very flat, static characters from his experience of seeing that chapter. And it was in medias res. In other words, it was in the middle of the story. This was not the first chapter. This was not the last chapter. It was like chapter, what I'm thinking of making like 4 or 5 or 6. Like, it's early, but it's not super early. You've had time to establish key plot points, and I sort of threw them in there. And one of the key plot points that I need to make mention of for me and I is that the world in which they live is a slightly dystopian future. Not dystopian in the way that the world, well, I guess I shouldn't say dystopian future. It's an apocalyptic sort of future in which the entire United States of America has been sort of overgrown with insidious like plant life. Essentially, there's this tree called the blend root, or whatever the fuck I'm going to call it. Like, again, a huge work in progress. I can turn on my high beams now. See, this is what I'm talking about. Rural, turn on your high beams. On the highway, turn that shit off. Okay. Point is, we're in rural, like, going through America with these two characters, and sort of like their episodic journeys of going through there, in a world where trees have sort of uprooted society. They've sort of overtaken the entirety of the United States, repopulated it into a forest that's probably even more forested than it was initially, before the European settlers, before the Spanish settlers came in and sort of populated everything, and even before French trappers came in. It's sort of that situation. A majority, or at least a good bit of the United States population leaves for Europe by boat. It's not a super deadly apocalypse, but it's one which only affects the United States. Like, all the other countries, like, I guess it would also have to affect North America. I'll make mention of that. But Europe is perfectly fine. I'm not certain exactly what I should do, if I should explain why this happens, or I should just leave it ambiguous why this happened. Because it sort of lends itself to theories of maybe a meteor came and some plant life that's alien just exploded onto the scene. I don't know. It's not that important for the overall story. at least in this book. I don't know if I'll make sequels. I have no. That's super far thinking. So I'm just going to stick grounded to what I'm doing here. And the thing is, I sort of revolved that a little bit around the chapter. I made mention of the fact, but even though it wasn't very important in this chapter I did for the fiction. So he said that was bad. I'm almost actually home, so I took a little bit longer than I thought I would. Another thing he mentioned, though, this I actually noticed in my writing that I have been doing, and this wasn't lazy stuff. This is just stuff I did in my actual casual writing for the chapter 1 that I'm doing right now. And that's I use a fuckload of semicolons. There's so many semicolons. And he's like, I'm going to ban your usage of semicolons. I'm like, okay. Then I go back and look, I'm like, oh fuck, I used like 50 semicolons in 30 pages. So many semicolons. So I took one of the days to just start removing the shitload of semicolons I've had. And that was the thing. But I guess that's a good place to stop. Me and I is going to be something I update on. I'm planning to do like an Audible type deal where I go on Podbean or some sort of podcasting site and I just sort of read myself, or like read the book. And I'll have more updates. I'll talk about this all throughout, like this book that I'm doing. Because this is something important. This is not just like random channel shit. Random memes. This is something that I really want to get done. And this is something I'm going to work on over the summer. And definitely talk about. I do want to make a podcast where I record myself basically narrating the book. So that'll be a thing. But that is basically that. That's all I wanted to update on for the most part. There's probably stuff I missed. Let me think real fast. You see, I recently made a note of everything I wanted to update on, and that's not actually on my phone. I wrote it all out because my phone was dying. That's roughly about it. Let's see if this all recorded, because I'm going to be very upset if this did not record. Nope, it's been recording. Almost an hour long. Well, come on, Ross. Can you waste another minute or so talking about something? Also, it has 100% battery life. How the fuck? It recorded all that without wasting a single thing of battery life. HP Envy, you have nothing on this iPad. Or maybe it just somebody hasn't updated. I have no idea. Yeah, I can't think of much else to update on. Final Fantasy 13 is, it's a thing. It's dead, but it's a thing. Maybe I'll come back to it. I guess I could talk about future projects. Tales of Heart is something I'm considering for future. Tales of Summerphonia is coming around, so maybe I'll do Tales of Heart for that. Oh, wait, no. That's the one last thing I wanted to talk about. So, over the summer, when I get some free time, I'm going to be starting something called We Would Like to Summer. I haven't come up with a fun name for it. It's just We Would Like to Summer. I'm basically going to be spending the summer, once I get everything done that I can, doing nothing but Wii games that are all interesting. Like, I'm planning to do Lost Story. There's this other game, Neverending Nightmares. I think, I forget what it's called. Let me go take a look. I have it in my Amazon. Oh, wait, I won't be able to check on my iPad. Fuck. Well, it's going to be a bunch of our, like, blind Wii games that I've had, because I've recently started collecting a little bit for the Wii library. I added to my collection for it, because I feel like I haven't had a very good life with the Wii in terms of games I've collected for it. I have Nerf End Strike. I have the Tony Hawk Skate, the shitty one with the board. I have fucking Block Party, Just Dance, the original on the Wii. I have the Simpsons game on the Wii, which actually isn't that bad, but still. Like, I had Brawl. I can't remember if that's just Ian's Brawl. I think I have my own Brawl. I don't remember. Not a lot of very wonderful games. I don't have Skyward Sword or Twilight Princess. I don't have either Galaxies, though I guess I technically have Mario Galaxy 2 now. I had Dawn in the New World. I like that game. Ian likes that game. It's not a very fantastic Tales game, but it's a Tales game, and it's not bad. And yeah, now I've gone to 101 minutes. So yeah, Tales of We Would Like to Summer. I might do Tales thing, but there's no more Wii Tales games, so I guess I can't do that over the summer. Maybe I'll do Tales of Heart in the fall. I might be moving house in order to get closer to the college. I'm not certain about that. Who knows? Life is very strange, and it swings at the drop of the pendulum and the drop of the hat. So I will see you guys for everything that's been going on. Thank you for sticking through it all if you're here and you're listening to this, because my upload schedule's been terrible. The quality of videos have been not exactly fantastic. Some of the stuff has been okay, but Phoenix Wright has audio problems. Fallout New Vegas has wanting to exist problems. Pokemon Trading Card Game 2 has failure to exist problems because it hasn't been uploaded yet, but we'll get through it. See you guys for all of that and all the channels as we go along. So, exciting stuff coming up. Later, y'all.